and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to the 5G Congress event 2023. We have with us esteemed speakers, Mr. Sri K. Rajaraman, Telecom Secretary, Department of Telecommunications, Mr. Nitin Bansal, the Head of Ericsson India and Network Solutions, MOAI, Ericsson. Both Sri Rajaraman and Mr. Bansal need no introduction. Let me start with Mr. Rajaraman. Industry is aggressively launching 5G services. They have covered multiple cities. So how do you see 5G impacting India's digital economy? What kind of impact do you think in the growth of the country?
Thank you. So as most of us know already, there are three dimensions of 5G, which is EMBB, URLLC, and MMTC. So all these three dimensions, I think the use for the ordinary consumer is expected to improve his quality of service, I think his experience. So things like gaming and maybe virtual reality, XR, VR, XR, etc. is expected to improve individual users, the use cases, I think. So I think from that perspective, I think you will see a quality improvement in his experience. But that would be still niche, I think. So the bigger growth would come through, I think, perhaps industrial business use cases, I think, which is probably, as some of the previous speakers have outlined, will take time, because obviously I think the industry is still experimenting with this technology at this point of time, and pilots are happening, as even Gopal Vittal and others people said. So a number of use cases are being experimented in various sectors. So we believe that the confidence that it will lead to transformation in productivity or improvement in safety, improvement in security. So those kind of things, the dimensions of the use cases get unlocked as we do the experiment. So I believe that the process is already on. A number of use cases have been launched across various industrial verticals, and we will see the traction happening maybe by end of the year and probably early next year. And it will continue to keep growing as people keep on experimenting with it and finding new dimensions of the use cases, which could probably harness greater productivity gains, efficiency gains, safety gains, and so on and so forth. So I think it's early days. I think it's very exciting from that perspective, because I will see the drivers both in governance as well as in business, in both of them. I think while the ordinary citizens, the EMBB use cases will drive individual innovation and use. But I guess the industrial and governance use cases will continue to evolve over a period of time as people experiment with it and find more opportunities for productivity and efficiency, safety, security gains. I think. So we will see a lot of traction. That's for sure. Because let me say that, as I already mentioned, we have put in place an interministerial committee which works with every ministry to make them understand about the potential use cases. Many of them are actually launched pilots. So it's very early days for us to actually comment on them, I think. So, but we will see them happening, over the course of this year as 5G becomes ubiquitous and people get more familiar with the use cases that could unravel.
Right. That was quite interesting. Mr. Bansal, Ericsson being a global player, what lessons do you think India can adopt from the global experience from the launch of 5G? How do you think that will benefit India?
Yeah, we have heard a few times since morning today that India is rolling out 5G at a pace, unprecedented pace, right? And this is the fastest ever 5G rollouts happening globally. The way we look at it is that, 5G, the country is preparing itself for being digitally ready. We have a very talented workforce, and we have a very strong startup coming up as well in the country. And 5G being a technology for innovation, I believe that the world will learn from us. So there would be a lot of innovation that we expect happening in India related to the use cases. Again, we have heard in the morning about consumer-related use cases. Secretary also spoke about the enterprise-related use cases. And looking at the focus and the push from the government, I believe that India will leapfrog. And the kind of use cases we do in India, both for consumer and enterprise, will be replicated in the world. So, that's the way I look at it. Then if we look at the specifics, I believe on the use cases that we will start with is enhanced mobile broadband, which is, on your devices, and fixed wireless access. Again, a lot has been said about this in the morning sessions. But then again, it's all about excitement, creating a buzz for the consumers. It's not only about speed. So will it be related to gaming, the way we watch videos, the way we watch sports, more on the consumer side? And on the enterprise, I believe, and again, we see a lot of interest and traction from various enterprises that we talk to. And they all believe that 5G is a technology that will help them bring in more efficiency and solve the problems that they face today, right? How do we increase the output and so on? So it will be across the industry, and we will see a lot of exciting use cases coming in the future, near future.
Right. In continuation with this response, what do you think, that will be the initial use cases for 5G specific to the requirements you see in the Indian market? You briefly talked about consumer broadband and gaming, but what do you see picking up the first? In which segment?
So while we experiment on the enterprise use cases, we work with the industry, academia, and the telecom service providers and technology providers like ourselves. On the consumer side, I believe it will be more towards making it interesting for the normal users to watch games, to look at augmented virtual reality. We saw some examples about education being one of those sectors. So while we start with these basic ones, we will evolve towards the more complicated ones.
Right. That's great. Mr. Rajaraman, do you think the new technology 5G will offer new revenue streams to the operators who have been under financial constraints since long, and government of course has taken multiple steps to bring in reforms in this sector, but do you see 5G giving them some relief maybe in next few years?
So as is with most technologies, I think though the life cycles of especially communication technologies have been shortened, I think, but I would say that the market is evolving, and we will see the benefits as the market gets an understanding of how it will get them the benefits of, say, from the financial point of view of financial returns, or returns in terms of, say, safety, productivity, or security, and so on and so forth. So there are so many dimensions of the returns to the customer. So if there is visibility and proof of concept which is available, so I would say that this is a great, unlike the 4G technologies, I think 5G is a technology where I think perhaps the telecom service providers need to enter into very deep and long-term partnerships with the ecosystem, which be it industry, or be it with the government, or be with any other I think what do you say, vertical, like say education, health, etc. So it's very important for them to educate the stakeholders, the stakeholder groups or the verticals about the potential of this technology. So, and then I'm sure that in collaboration, I think, so this will be a technology where I think it will be like the ecosystem will require to play a very important role. So therefore I see that happening, and already I think I can see a number of industry verticals which have picked it up. We can also see in some cases the social infrastructure vertical like health, education also pick it up. But I guess it's early days. We must all work together to ensure that these are unlocked, and I think the efficiency gains, the safety gains, security gains are all kind of put on the table, I think in the form of, say, pilots or experiments, etc. So enable the market to understand that these are for sure, and these could be the basis of actually doing a kind of an upscale of the use of this technology in any of the verticals that we are talking about. So definitely I think things like, say, let's take the case of, say, MMTC, for instance, I think. So I think there is a tremendous opportunity out here in terms of, say, in terms of the power sector, for instance. I think the way metering is done in individual houses, I think there is an opportunity to actually to ensure the smart metering across the country, in big scale. Because at the end of the day, currently I think we need to go up to nearly 20-25 crore electric connections across the country, and if you are ensuring, and I'm sure that this smart metering will bring in a lot of efficiency, in terms of in how electric grids are run and managed, and it can also educate the consumers about their own use, I think. So therefore I guess in vertical specific use cases need to be unlocked through experiments, And I think that's where I think the ecosystem out here in terms of various stakeholders is very, very crucial. And it's time to actually roll out all these experiments, and which the government is now enabling. We are very keen to actually push it in governance, in whatever field of governance. So we are now working with nearly about 20 plus ministries to actually identify the efficiency gains, safety gains, security gains, etc. that can accrue because of the use of this technology. So therefore, it's early days. I think we are now already several of the central public sector undertakings and ministries are already working on them. And I hope that this becomes mass scale maybe in the several months that follow.
Okay. So government has recently announced setting up of a new test bed, and you have also involved many startups along with that. So what do you think, how big role would startups play in developing use cases which are yet to fully, we are yet to get any fully commercial use case right now?
So I mean, I wouldn't say that. A lot of proven use cases already do exist based on the experience in other countries, etc. So those can be rolled out straight away. But other location specific or India specific use cases will take time to get developed. So in my view, I think there is also this something to do with the familiarity of the technology because essentially use case is in the hand of the user, right? So his or her, I think familiarity with this technology is something which we need to get over with. So I guess a lot of work has to be done by the ecosystem, which is essentially the telcos, by solution providers and research and development establishment. All of them have to work together along with maybe telecom equipment manufacturers as well to identify those niche outcomes that could be possible because of the use of 5G related technologies. So I would see that happening. I see that already happening, and I mean the ministers already announced setting up of 5G use case labs in about 100 engineering colleges. So that would enable the people, the students who come out of engineering colleges also get familiar with this technology, get their hands dirty on the opportunities that by use of the technology. I'm sure that a lot of new innovations will emerge. I think, and I'm sure that will take this whole movement of use cases forward. But definitely, I think we can see a lot of productivity gains accrue to industry because of that, and we will see that happening. And the enterprise use case will also drive a lot of that. So, already a few of the industries have adopted it, and I'm sure that many of them, as costs go down, I'm sure that I think more and more of even the small and the medium scale industry also would see the gains in adopting a 5G use case on the shop floor.
Nitin, India is off to a great start in 5G. Our telecom operators are launching 5G very aggressively across various cities. So what do you think India needs to do more to sustain this momentum, and what are your thoughts on monetization?
So, if we start with what we need to do more, I think we need to continue the rollout pace that we are rolling out now. And again, it is a collaboration between all the stakeholders. Then we definitely need to look at use case development, because monetization is important. Once we bring in new opportunities for monetization is when the investments will continue. So on the 5G case, it's 5G in India. Basically, we need to continue with the rollouts. We need to find other revenue streams for the operators so that they are able to monetize and hence continue the investments. Then also, we need to look at the spectrum availability. For example, additional spectrum in mid-band, because soon we will need that as well, 6 gigahertz or whatever band we can look at. And last but not the least, we have to start looking at developing the standards for 6G and start thinking about 6G. First of all, identify what is it that 6G will do, and then look at how we standardize and make sure we are ready in time for 6G. So continue 5G, start investing in finding new areas to monetize, and study on 6G.
Great. That's it. We have come to the end of this special session, and it was quite fascinating discussion. And thank you so much for your time.